Thanks to Martin Luther King Jr. and many other activists, I've been blessed with many opportunities, a great education, and a chance to communicate with diverse populations here in the U.S. and also abroad.
As a member of the minority group in America, I appreciate what Dr. King was able to accomplish for all Americans, regardless of background and where they are from.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a trailblazer, one that we look to for building community, building awareness, building togetherness and diversity and multiculturalism here in the United States. He was a figure to so many people that even expanded throughout the world.
Mainly his pursuit of social justice and racial equality really has impacted me personally. I think because I take it a little bit further and I take the idea of equality to also mean gender equality and also cultural equality. And in terms of cultural equality, I mean that all cultures around the world and societies have respect and understanding for each other as equals.
In the influence he's had on what we do as an organization and what I've done all my career to make a difference in opportunity for people in education, for community development, for political change, not only in this nation, around the world. This institution, while it's not about Dr. Martin Luther King, I think it's about making the differences in people's lives that he advocated for and showed us all how you can get it done, actually.
I would say that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an intellectual man, a man of values, and a man with vision. He actually saw beyond his time, and if you really look at the whole pictures of the civil rights movement, he was really looking out for the generations to come, and that is why he actually sacrificed his life.
When I think back to the history classes and such and learning about Dr. Martin Luther King, I was always interested in I thought it was interesting how young he was, starting off as a Baptist preacher and then suddenly kind of being thrown into becoming a leader of the civil rights movement and such. So I think in one way he's a really great role model for young people and what you can do. I mean, he was the youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
I mean, growing up in the South, it was interesting to see that there actually was a person that actually felt like there was a chance that we as a whole could, accomplish the things in life that at this point that maybe some of us have, some of us still have not.
My husband's from Togo in West Africa, so our children are biracial, and they're not white like me, they've got brown skin. And I think of his speech and what he said of how people should, he dreamed of a world where people are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
For one, we know that he's been an inspiration for many revolutionists around the world, such as Nelson Mandela, who actually advocated for the civil rights of their communities and free the world from prejudice.
Aed's work is built on empowering communities and helping communities build from their own. And the diversity that we build here at Aed should be commended.
The context of fighting for rights, I would like to think that Aed's mission of education development around the world is from a rights-based perspective. And in that respect, providing opportunities for the marginalized, for those who lack voices. But I hope from wherever he is, he's looking down and seeing that his efforts were not in vain. Even as we struggle as humans, I think that's the key. We're humans and we're still struggling.
For me, I was in the 8th grade when Dr. King was assassinated. So that was a very vulnerable age, I think, to lose somebody so great and to be so young and not really understand what was going on. So as a kid, I had a real impression that he was gone and gone forever. And I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. So to grow up in that city and to have lost Dr. King and to be so young was just, it made life really hard. And I grew up at a time and remember very vividly when people in Washington and the country were fighting to get Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday, we were offered the chance to either take off Dr. King's birthday or Robert E. Lee's birthday. And so to grow up in that kind of environment so late into that century and have that kind of choice offered to us like that was okay was just a really hard way to grow up. But it was also an inspiring way to grow up, because what I realized as I got older was that Dr. King had not been assassinated. In fact, he lives on and has had a great impact on my life as I have figured out how the threads of justice tie us all together. So I've always tried to do work that really looked at economic issues around people and social justice issues around how people try and have a piece of the American dream. So I would say that his life has had a really great impact on mine and continues. I'm still trying to figure out my own history as it relates to Dr. King's.
I remember being a part of the march that his wife, along with Stevie Wonder, Jesse Jackson, and some of the other black leaders that we have here in the United States, how we all marched to make his holiday a national holiday. It was a long process, but I remember so vividly, as though it was yesterday, being a part of that march. And it impacted my life so much till some offices I worked didn't celebrate King's Day, but I always took off. That was part of history.
This year, the Martin Luther King holiday would be another opportunity for me to reunite with my family and gather with them. So I'm heading to New York City tomorrow.
Well, I'll be spending it with family, reflecting on his works, on his ideas, and also taking a tour of the city in DC.
And I have friends and family over for a nice brunch. We get together and we have what's called meeting for worship. That's what the Quakers do.
Well, you know, basically, I think I'm just going to watch some programs on television. I really want to take it easy this weekend, but if I watch some of the things on television regarding to King, that should be great.
I'll be working on a proposal for AED. No holidays. But I mean, I think that's good in a way, because like I said, a lot of the work that we do is so tied to him.
Well, normally what my kids and I do, there's a Martin Luther King Library on F Street. We normally go down there.
I'm actually going to be spending it with my cousins who just had baby twins, and so I'm going to spend it that way, my day off.
My wife and I are actually going skiing, so we're going to be outdoors, and I'm going to enjoy that as a holiday.